This video is sponsored by no one. That's my intro. Look, I didn't know what to do, okay? I have other important things to do, like look at Zelda pictures, college, play games, college. I don't get paid enough to do this! There's a doggo barking in the background. As you may have noticed from the title, today we are going to talk about the time that someone stole my Breath of the Wild theory. I use the term theory very loosely because with the evidence in my video, it was blatantly obvious that I was right. I should first talk about the video in question. It was one of the first few I uploaded where I explained the purpose of the 5 columns around Hyrule Castle. Yes, 5. People always tell me that there are actually 4, but there is 5. The reason why this was less of a theory was because the evidence I used in the game pretty much confirmed what I was talking about. Long story short, entries within Zelda's research notes proved that the pillars served as a storage unit for guardians. I'll have a link to the video in the description and top right corner of the screen if you want to give it a watch. I should probably start off saying that as a theorist channel, it is somewhat common for people to repost my theories and or reference my channel. But usually I have no issues with it because either they give some form of credit to me or they add on to an already existing theory with more evidence. You will get those few that might not give the proper credit, but generally it isn't a big deal. This one stands out as the most interesting because, well, you'll understand later. This whole incident occurred in April this year, and originally I had no intent of making a video on it. But after, let's say, recent events that happened in the past few months, I was inspired to do this. The story begins on a social media-like site called Amino. It has a variety of different communities that you can become a part of, including Zelda Amino. Hashtag not sponsored. Occasionally, I will search myself up on sites such as Google to see if people outside of my community discuss any theories or videos I have posted. Let's face it, I'm pretty sure this is something a lot of creators do. Well, one day when I was stroking my ego like the humble YouTuber that I am, I came across a post on Zelda Amino by a user who will remain anonymous. It was titled, "What do the castle's columns do in Breath of the Wild?" Now I must pause for a moment and state that when I looked there were 2 posts regarding this. The difference is that the one actually gives me credit in theirs, so I have no problem with them. So don't try to go after this individual thinking it is the person who straight up stole my theory. Now the reason this specific post stood out was because the information within it had sounded very similar to that which came from my video. I still wasn't sure though, so I went back and rewatched my upload. And then something instantly stuck out. And it wasn't the similarity of information. Let me just go ahead and do a side-by-side comparison of my video's visuals and the poster's screenshots. Now, if you remember going to Hyrule Castle, then you will definitely remember these strange structures that surrounded it. They have a very similar look to the other structures like shrines. They also have a constellation pattern on them, something that you find all the time on interior shrine walls. This is confirmed when in the cutscene of Ganon's return, the 5 pillars appear out of the ground. Also, in the cutscene with King Rome, notice what direction the guardians are coming from in the scene. There is also a hint that the pillars stored guardians inside of them, as at the top of each one lies a decayed guardian. Also, even if some people have their doubts, that all goes away once you see this one image, where the effects I used in my video editing program show up in the screenshot. In fact, every single picture here is found within my video. At the most, they do this marker circling brush effect. At this point, I was already knowing what would happen if I compared the actual contents of the video with the Amino post. But just out of curiosity, I decided to check. Before I do the comparisons, I'd like to point out the huge problem in this user's post. He claims that he has a theory that may explain exactly what those columns do. Now, I know we've all heard that famous line from our favorite YouTuber.
I did a little bit of research on my own, and here's what I came up with.
So to start off with, this individual is making the claim that he found all of this with his own research. So now I'm just going to let the side-by-side comparison do the talking. These aren't Philip Mewson levels of plagiarism, but you'll notice those few similarities here and there. They also have a constellation pattern on them, something that you find all the time on interior shrine walls. Since these patterns are similar to the structures created by the Sheikah, we can assume that they were built 10,000 years ago. To begin with, it's very convenient how the first evidence both I and him talk about is the same. He mentions the constellations in the shrines, something that I myself mention, plus the connection that the Sheikah must have made the pillars since the design appears on the shrines. At this point, they are doing a decent job at mixing up the order of information presented, but along with the 2 images, it's clear that this was all ripped from the video. However, there's no need to elaborate any further on what the purpose of these pillars are, because all of the answers can literally be found in Zelda's research notes. Robbie has restored mobility to many of the guardians we've
excavated, but we still have yet to find all the guardians. Records mention a greater number of them, and even other types. They are said to be stored in 5 giant columns that rest beneath Hyrule Castle. The thing is, no matter how I search beneath the castle, I can't seem to locate these columns. They must be very deep. Were they perhaps designed to sense the appearance of Calamity Ganon and to only activate upon his return?
Wow, what a coincidence. We talk about the exact same evidence and the exact same pages within the diary. This is confirmed when in the cutscene of Ganon's return, the 5 pillars appear out of the ground. Also, in the cutscene with King Rome, notice what direction the Guardians are coming from in the scene. You can clearly see that they came from Hyrule Castle. At this point, I don't even think this person is trying to hide it anymore. There's also a hint that the pillars stored Guardians inside of them, as at the top of each one lies a decayed Guardian. This could imply that the Guardians had gotten out of the storage units from the very top. And considering that they have no problem climbing vertical structures, this is a good chance of being true. Need I say more? Also, flipping the order of those 2 pieces of evidence you talk about doesn't make it any less obvious. And I at first thought they were functioning completely normally when appearing. However, if you remember, everything that is corrupted by Ganon's malice goes from a blue color to a deep red. Okay, now we are just getting to Philip levels of copy-pasting. And before you say that their default color is red, in the final scene we can clearly see that they are blue again. So before they rose from the ground, Ganon indeed had control over the columns. So, to wrap up this video, the 5 pillars are simply just another piece of Sheikah technology that was corrupted and used against them when Ganon broke free of his 10,000 year seal. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you plagiarize a YouTuber's video. Also, no. He didn't give me credit. I wasn't even mentioned in the post. Now at this point, yes, I was kinda bummed that someone would do this, but I really didn't care too much because mainly this was just some random post on Amino. It wasn't like they were getting paid for using my research with no credit. So I then decided that I would make an account and comment on the user's post. I don't have that original comment because of reasons that will be clear later on, but I can paraphrase what I said. Look man, it's all well and good that you post this, but you gotta give credit where credit's due. All this information is exactly what I say in my video covering the topic. Just saying that you should at least give me a shout out at the end or something. At this point, I decided to retreat to my Discord group and waited for a while. But before I left, I made sure to screenshot the entire post. I didn't want this guy editing it and outright denying what he did. Around 45 minutes go by and I returned to the post. It didn't look changed in any way, but I kept scrolling down until I saw something that wasn't there before at the very bottom of the page. Yeah, he gave me credits for the screenshots. Not the theory you just essentially plagiarized. The freaking screenshots. Plus, he didn't change the beginning where he claimed it was his theory. So at this point, I was a bit more ticked off, but I still didn't really care. I decided to go look and see if he replied to my comment. I was kind of curious of what his response would be. I couldn't find my comment. Now, I didn't want to assume the worst, so I reached out to my Discord asking them if they could visit the page and find my comment. A couple got back to me confirming that no comment by the user Nintendo Black Crisis was there. So the guy deleted my comment. This is where I started to get upset. So I decided to write another more colorful comment and saved it just in case he pulled another one on me. I actually do have this comment, so I can quote my exact words for you now. Came back to take a look at this post, and I see that my comment is no longer here. I even had other people check. So either something unexplainable happened, or you deleted the comment. And I really hope it isn't the latter. And I don't think you understood what I was getting at in my other post. It's great that you gave me credit, but just for the screenshots? Really? I reread the whole post and almost all of it is exactly what I say in my video. I'm completely fine when people do this, since it has happened occasionally. However, the big difference is that they don't talk as if it's their own theory. You, on the other hand, are pretty much saying in the post, oh hey, look what I discovered when doing research. Personally, it's not really the end of the world for me. It's not like you are posting this on YouTube and making money off of it. But if I don't receive some proper credit and you continue to pass this off as your own theory, I won't be very pleased with it. I once again went back to Discord, this time talking to a few people about the current situation. Some thought I should try to get the post down, but honestly I didn't even want to go that far. At this point, I just wanted the proper credit, even if it was at the very bottom. I'd say around an hour passed, and I decided to go back to the post. I refreshed the page and was met with this. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you take screenshots. Honestly, I wasn't even mad. I recall laughing out loud for a good few minutes. Probably because I had saved everything so I would always have the proof. If I didn't take those screenshots, I probably would have been angry after seeing this. But either way, this whole thing was the highlight of my day. Nothing else has really happened since then. I kept an eye out on his profile for the next few days just to see if he would do anything else, but nothing happened. To this day, I still remember the person's username, but I have a feeling that they probably won't try something like that again. What concerned me the most, though, was the fact that this individual was pretty popular on the app. So the thought that more people with his influence may be getting away with this stuff day after day is kind of concerning. I guess the moral of the story is, if you use someone's art or other work, make sure to give the proper credit. I remember once I saw on Twitter that a user was selling t-shirts with another artist's designs and were actually getting a lot of money from it. And this video itself wasn't to stir up drama, I just thought it would be an interesting story to tell. I don't have too many of those, and I know that a lot of channels tend to exaggerate things or lie, but this was all true. If I didn't have the screenshots, you probably wouldn't be hearing it, but since you did, I hope you enjoyed, and if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe. I've been Nintendo Black Crisis, signing off, and I'll see you later.